55-year-old Marine colonels are killing themselves in VA parking lots. Young soldiers are killing themselves in VA waiting rooms after meetings with doctors and other providers go south. What the hell is going on with medical care for our combat veterans? That's the subject of today's show. And how can we, as the grassroots, help prevent veteran suicide? We're still at 20 a day or more, and it's getting worse because now real combat veterans of all ages, of all ranks, from colonel down to private, are taking one for the team. So get ready. This is going to be a tough conversation here on the Rob Mena Show. What is happening at our Veterans Affairs medical facilities? According to the USA Today, a veteran killed himself outside the Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Cleveland on Monday, the fourth veteran suicide at a VA facility this month. And more than a dozen lawmakers from both parties called for more to be done to prevent veteran suicides at a rare joint press conference on Capitol Hill. Of course, the VA declined to release any details of this suicide, as they do all of them, citing privacy regulations, which they write, so very little information can be released by them. In early February 2019, the Military Times reported 19 suicides have occurred on VA campuses from October 2017 to November 2018, 7 of them in parking lots, according to data the Washington Post obtained from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Some are worried that this is a gruesome form of protest by veterans to highlight how little help they were given in their time of need by the VA system. USA Today also highlighted that 55-year-old Marine Colonel Jim Turner shot himself in December 2018 outside the Bay Pines Department of Veterans Affairs while dressed in his service uniform. He left a disturbing note. The investigators found it close to his body. Quote, "I bet if you look at the 22 suicides a day, you will see VA screwed up in 90%, unquote. Well, I'm damn tired of seeing useless press conferences by congressmen and women, big signing ceremonies by the President of the United States, and voice support by senior leaders in the Veterans Affairs Department and Department of Defense, but zero effective outcome. And suicide isn't the only issue I speak of, but it's the beach we must storm today and the objective we must take. Friends, we have seasoned combat veterans of all services and all ranks taking one for the team. These are not inexperienced people. They've been there, done that, and find themselves at the end of their rope because of us. Yes, I said it, us. We are the problem because we expect everyone in government to be as ready as we are to help veterans. Well, they're not. Oh, they want to, but for various reasons, things don't work out for the veterans as they should. Last week, I sat in a room all day with paid representatives of veteran services organizations like the VFW, the American Legion, and Military Officers Association of America, etc., and VA department leaders. They talked about all the great things they're doing to help vets, but only 2 people, me and one other volunteer from our organization, spoke up and said, if we don't address the suicide issue that's presenting itself as dead bodies in VA facilities and parking lots first, all these great things don't really matter, and they don't. However, you could have heard a pin drop, and instead of generating a rigorous discussion, our comments were nearly ignored completely while the group went back to talking about how great everything is. I hold no ill will towards these folks. We are all working hard. Veteran care is hard. It tries to alleviate the horrors of the hardest thing humans do, kill people and die for our country. So it will always be hard. But I do, and I encourage you to also hold ourselves and the bureaucracies accountable when we fail, and we are failing now Absolutely. I've invited a grassroots veteran leader to discuss this and the other issues our veterans face today on the show. Welcome OPSLAN's contributor, TV show host, and founder of Code of Vets, a 100% volunteer grassroots nonprofit organization dedicated to assisting America's veterans, retired Lieutenant Colonel Gretchen Smith, to the Rob Maness Show. Well, Freds, today we've invited grassroots leader on to discuss this issue of veterans' dead bodies showing up in VA parking lots and medical facility waiting rooms and those kind of things. And but really, the reason we wanted this individual to come on and speak to us is that she and her partners have founded a total grassroots, 100% all volunteer organization called Code of Vets. And Gretchen Smith is a former Air Force E4 Security Forces and is very active, goes by Code of Vets on Twitter and Facebook. And that's how you contact her, through one of those two methods or on their website at Code of Vets. Gretchen, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, let's jump right into it. You know, I just saw you tweeted out from, I think it was just on Monday of this week, that another veteran has committed suicide at a VA facility.
Right. It's scary what's going on in our community. And I really have to say, want to preface this with that story, is that I'm surprised that it's not getting more media coverage than what it is, because roughly every 65 minutes we have a veteran that commits suicide. And for me, that I think that should equate in a national emergency, especially in our community. So it's the more the stories get out there about the veterans who are committing suicides in the parking lots and in the facilities, we have to start taking a hard look at, you know, what is going on? Why are they doing this? And it is a call for help. And there is something going on in our community that isn't being addressed, and issues are not being met. So I feel like we at the grassroots level have really got to start highlighting this ourselves and talking amongst each other. And we need to start finding solutions, because we've watched how DC works and how the Congress functions. And they are great at overarching policies and legislations and VA prevention, advertising programs, and just these huge programs that they put millions and millions, if not billions of dollars into. But at the end of the day, we are still having these veterans anywhere between 20 to 22 a day. I know the numbers are argued about a little bit, but whatever that number is, I like to say roughly every 65 minutes we lose a brother and sister in arms. And I'm telling you why, it's horrific. We have got to start working at our level to start making true significant progress. And that's why our motto is we're taking care of our own, one veteran at a time. And literally, we are saving lives, and it's one veteran at a time. But I tell you what, it's a start, and it's a place for us to start coming together and having a voice and speaking as one and walking as one and taking care of each other.
Oh, you're absolutely right, and I think your program is absolutely wonderful. You and I met not all that long ago when you were first starting out, and I've tried to help in my social media as much as I can. I know you've been on our shows on OPSLANS,
Yes.
and I'm glad to have you back with us today because of this issue. And I would even take it one step further, Gretchen. You know, I was in a room with paid veteran service organization personnel and VA leadership all day last week up in Washington, D.C. at the VA headquarters. And only two people, me and my partner that operate our all volunteer organization, were invited to this meeting. And it's a regular meeting of what they call VSOs, veteran service organizations like the VFW and American Legion,
Mm-hmm.
and the meeting with the folks that assist them from the Veterans Affairs Administration. And that meeting was all about, you know, the VA leaders pitching their various programs, from the health agency leadership to the benefits agency leadership, the VSO administrator, the directors leadership, and all those folks telling how great their programs were and how they're excited for the future. And they should be. They should be. They've done a lot of great
Exactly.
work
It's
under
important.
President
Yes.
Trump. But you know what? I told them, and I was the first, this was about halfway through the day, and I told them when I started my question, that is that as long as there are dead bodies in our parking lots and our waiting rooms at these VA facilities, I don't really give a damn how good you think you're doing because you're not doing anything to affect that. And that's got to be our number one priority. That's got to be the beach that we have to take. That's the objective that we have to take and get control of before any of these good things will ever be recognized by the American people and most of all by veterans and their families. And you know what?
Yeah.
Crickets. Didn't even generate a
Exactly.
rigorous
They
conversation. They wanted to
they
go
do not
back and
have an
talk
answer
about their
for it.
good stuff. That's
Yeah,
right. They
yeah.
don't.
All,
Well, at least we
I
have to
agree.
acknowledge we don't have an answer for it, don't we?
We do not. That's the first step is for all of us, grassroots level and from anywhere in between to the executive level down to the grassroots level. We all have to admit we do not have a solution for this, and all of these dead bodies negate all of these beautiful programs they are submitting, they are talking about, they are patting each other on the shoulder for. Yes, they're all important, and I absolutely love that everybody is stepping up and trying to create these programs and improve the VA. But when we look at the suicide rate amongst us, and it's continuous. There is not a decline. It keeps going. We keep hearing about the next veteran, and when are we going to step up and say enough's enough? We have got to have serious discussions all over the nation, not just within our community, but I think we need to be leading the way. We need to be leading the charge with these discussions because it's our brothers and sisters in arms that are doing it. And we have got to find a way to curb this because I do not see an end in sight. I do not see a program in sight. I do not see DC with a fixed solution. I do not believe one agency is going to be able to resolve this. It's going to take all of us working in concert.
You're absolutely right. It's going to take all of us, and the reason why I'm excited to have you here is because I think that the closer you are to a problem, physically and spiritually, the more likely you are to be able to have a positive impact on solutions to the problem. And your organization, Code of Vets, it grew up on Twitter in Periscope, so it is a pure 21st century social media grassroots organization that really has been successful in acting on these issues and saving lives. That's the key issue for me is
Yes.
saving lives. But I know you have to move fast. How do you vet these guys when you're moving so fast? How do you what are your processes to
Yeah.
vet them real quickly?
Oh, absolutely. There's strengths and there's challenges to social media, especially since that's all we are. Is we're a nonprofit org, but we operate purely on the social media platforms. And what we have come to find is that when we've fallen down, made mistakes, but what we have come to find, my partner and I, Dr. Cindy Walter, is that if we have the veterans just give us their DD-214s up front with identification, and then depending on their particular issue or need, we also require additional documentation. If we're going to make a mortgage payment for somebody or a utilities payment or a car payment or pay for tires, we require a copy of the bill. So that's how we vet our veterans is just the DD-214 is, just that's what you do when you're a veteran. That's what you provide for that information. And everybody's been great at that. But when we do have veterans that buck that and do not want to provide that, that's when the red flags start going up. So we do not assist unless we have that military documentation and that photo ID as well to go along with it. And of course, when Cindy is working with them through the VA process, whether it's on the ebenefits.com or My Healthy Benefits, and she's assisting them with filling out documents and writing up paperwork for them, and sees all the paperwork going back and forth between them and the VA, then obviously we know they're veterans. So that's another great way. It's another layer of vetting that we do as well. So social media is fickle. We have had some stolen valor issues, and the primary piece of that is when I offer prayer for people. I do not request a DD-214 or identification for that. So there have been times when it has come up that after the prayer request has been placed out in social media that I discover that that veteran or that individual actually wasn't a veteran. And that's going to happen. I mean, that's going to come with the territory when you're dealing with social media and and technology in today's world. But you know what? For me, overall, our big overarching mission is to save lives, to change lives, transform lives, and that's what we're doing. So if that's some of the things that we have to work through and deal with, I'm okay with that because what we're doing is phenomenal. It's new. I don't see any other organization doing quite what Coda Vets is doing. It's unique. We have found a niche, and there is a purpose for us. So overall, we do great things with veterans, and we're getting the word out about individual veteran stories. And what that does is not only does it assist that particular veteran, but it raises awareness in our community what it's like. And I'm putting faces and names to the term veteran. And I think it's very important for the nation to see what a veteran goes through, day to day, and how life can go awry if you don't have a good support system in place, or if the transition from military to civilian life doesn't quite work for that veteran because they don't have a great family or great structure in the community. As you know, there are gaps in our system, and we're able to highlight those so that we can work together with other organizations and the government to say, hey, this is what's going on here at the grassroots level. We need to work on this together. We need to have a line of communication here.
Yeah, I agree. And the next issue I want to touch on just a little bit because Twitter is and social media in general are fast moving. But one of the things that I've been so impressed with your organization with is I've observed it, and I watch you guys every day, try to help you with spreading communications, getting people in touch with you, and those kind of things. But I
Hmm.
try to watch you every day because you are so fast moving. And like I said, the impressive part is that I've seen you all be able to take a veteran that's on a street, I mean literally on a street sidewalk with nothing but the clothes on their back, and get them taken care of in 24 hours. That's
Yes,
incredible. That is
that's the
incredible
power.
because yeah.
Yeah,
Go
that's the
ahead.
power of social media. It's a great thing. I mean, even though there's cons and negatives to it as well, the beautiful part of it, the powerful piece of this, which is makes it all worthwhile, is that you can get a veteran off the street within a matter of hours because once Cindy vets them and we find out who they are, and usually there's somebody there who's trying to assist that particular homeless veteran, and they call us for help, and that's when I can live stream about it and get it out there immediately. Those live streams they just go all over the country, and people pick up on that, and they send us emergency funding for a hotel and to get that veteran a phone so that that particular veteran can get in touch with us. So we can start offering them guidance, and we also find them jobs. But in the meantime, we also do those Amazon wish lists for clothes. So within a period of 1 to 2 days, the guy has everything that he needs, as far as food, clothes, underwear, socks, shoes, you name it, in a hotel room. And we can accomplish that without any layers. Because we are a social media organization, we can raise money incredibly quickly. And that's the power that I have discovered that we're figuring out how to harness is through these social media platforms. It's amazing.
Yeah, and you touched on something else. You do raise money. You're a nonprofit organization, and those donations go to directly to taking care of veterans. Correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, yes. Sandy and I do not take a dime. We also have a few other volunteers, but we're the primary two, and we do not take any of the funding. It all goes to the veterans because all of this is social media. My husband and I, we cover the cost of the operations, which we're not always going to be able to do because as we grow, of course, the operational cost is going to increase. But thus far, we've been able to swing it, and I'm just so honored, and it just brings my heart joy to be able to do this. I do this because of my dad. My dad is the inspiration, and I feel like he's my driving force. And I know he's watching me from heaven, saying, "You go get him, baby girl."
Well, I'm very proud of you for doing that to honor your dad, but also you serve too, and I appreciate your
Yes.
service to our country and your continued service, and your husband's. I know that he has served our country
Hmm.
and continues to help you, and I know what it's like to put your own resources into a nonprofit, and I think we all do that when we get involved with a nonprofit like
Hmm.
this.
Oh,
But
yes.
so we know that suicide is a big issue. Obviously, the best way to prevent suicides, this is Rob's opinion, is to make sure that we address homelessness, that we address drug addiction, that we address veterans that may not be able to or know how to get their benefits and those kind of things. And you all do these things in really rapid fashion, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
The,
So
I'm just really proud of what we are accomplishing. Last week, I have to say that we assisted 117 veterans, and we are a small grassroots organization when you think about it. But the power of social media has amplified and given us a nice voice where we can be seen nationwide. And I'm telling you what, we're using that to our advantage because we're able to go through many more veterans than what we normally would be able to. I can raise money quickly for a veteran in crisis because of the power of social media.
Yeah, it's amazing. So tell our audience, what are the things that you've discovered that actually work? The things that help. What are the things that get given to you or you get help with? And then what's the impact on your outcomes, which are all very, very good from what I could tell. Your
Oh, yes,
outcomes are really highly positive, and
right.
and there have been very few things or actually none that I could find that where your outcomes haven't been one of the desired outcomes you set out to achieve on a particular individual or incident. So
Well, helping
what helps you the most?
Well, getting the information out there, I feel like is the most important. It's key, it's crucial. For me, it's even more important than donating because the further that Code of Vets message can spread and we can share what we're accomplishing, and again, the audience is part of the journey from the time that I live stream or post a picture of a veteran in need or crisis until the time they're opening their Amazon boxes or they have the key to their apartment or they're in a hospital being checked in because they're suicidal, whatever the case is. Anybody that's part of Code of Vets and shares that information, they see the story from beginning to resolution or till we find a solution. So I think that's another key component to this social media phenomenon for Code of Vets is that we are able to use this platform from beginning to end to show this story and this journey of how it evolves, and it happens quickly. So when we get a vet in crisis, the best thing that I could say for us is for that information to be reposted, retweeted, whatever the case. Put it on your Facebook page, share it, because the more people we have aware of what we're doing, the more donations we will get in, and then the more resources we'll have. Because when we have a veteran, we do this nationwide. Even though I'm in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, that's not where I help veterans. I help veterans all over the country. So the bigger our voice is when we have a veteran in Portland, Oregon, or Marietta, Georgia, or Indianapolis, Indiana, and I live stream about it and it goes out, then we'll start getting local businesses and individuals contacting me and saying, "Hey, Gretchen, I live in Indianapolis. What can I donate to this veteran? I'll put them up in this hotel or I'll take them to the VA." So for me, what we need is that we need for everybody to share that information. For me, that's the number one. That's the most important thing.
Exactly, and that I think it's important. In case you missed it, folks, when Gretchen just said, we'll get local businesses to see it. That's why it's important to share your communication, share it again if you have to,
Right.
and
Right.
keep talking about it because in our communications overload world, you have to be able to break through to get people's attention. And you may have to do that over and over again. And especially in this environment, it's very fast moving. And
It is very quick.
we do appreciate all those businesses that do see these issues pop up and they reach out to try to help because without their help, you can't get the job done. And we
No,
know that.
no,
So,
absolutely.
so, so what's the thing that doesn't help? There's got to be one, right? There always is. What's the thing that doesn't help you get your job done in this very important work?
Well, one of the primary things, social media is notorious for people, attacking each other. And when we do that to each other, especially veterans attacking other veterans, that for me, it damages the entire mission of what any of us are trying to accomplish. I think our overarching goal at this point is to keep each other alive. It is true. It is a true crisis. And also the other key component is homelessness. We got to get our vets off the streets. So when we work together and we come together as one and start focusing on that, I think that's when we're going to start seeing a reduction in these numbers. But when we have all of this going back and forth on social media, people are incredibly empowered when they're behind their computer or on their phone because there's anonymity and they think they can say whatever they want. So if they disagree with you and you have these little fights within your own community, for me, it defeats the purpose of the mission. It impedes the goal of saving lives and changing lives. So my greatest thing is, just to give grace that nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes, and that we need to encourage each other, say, hey, what a good job you're doing. Thank you for the effort you're putting into this and the long hours, instead of giving criticism all the time or attacking when you see a mistake. I think that's huge in the social media world in general. And it's a form of cyberbullying. And we've seen some devastating effects in the teenage community too from this cyberbullying, and sometimes it transfers over into the adult world. And I've witnessed it and felt it myself, and it's very hurtful. And words have power, and we just all need to be mindful of that. I think we need to be respectful of each other and bring that civility back into our country. I feel like we've lost some of that respect, basic human dignity and respect for each other. We can work on that. We as veterans in our community, we can be the change. We can be the leaders in that. We can lead that charge. And so I feel like that's probably the least effective tool, is to criticize each other and to point out each other, call each other out in a public forum like that. And we need to be solid. We need to be walking the same cadence, speaking the same voice, because what we are fighting is incredibly serious.
And you're right again. People get drawn into it. I've been drawn into debates that go south really fast
Mhm.
on social media, and people will say things that they would never say to you if they
Exactly.
were talking to you across the table over a cup of coffee or a beer, or just standing around in a room at a networking event. They would never talk to you in the ways that you see folks talking to each
Absolutely.
other in social media. And we can, as veterans, we can take a leadership role and should. I'm as guilty as the next guy. I can be gruff and direct and to the point because I've forgotten who I'm talking to, and I might not be in a veterans group where we're used to
Hmm.
talking to each other like that. And I'm talking to somebody else on a different topic where I need to be paying much more attention to being civil and getting my point across than just coming at it full force. So we can do that, and that is one of the things that I get concerned about with groups like yours on social media, is because of that tendency for people to be just really harsh and in your face when you're
Yes.
when you're trying to do good. And
Right.
But by no means should anybody not say something if they see something that's nefarious or something that's going to hurt your efforts and those kind of things. Let you know.
Exactly.
And How do they do that, Gretchen? In a private mode instead of in the public mode.
Yes. A direct message would be phenomenal, or to me or to Cindy. And I've been shouting out her Twitter handle quite a bit because I want people to get to know her more too, because she is truly a partner in this. She has come aboard and has done phenomenal things with Code of Vets. And just letting us know in private, hey, this, we have reason to believe this veteran, is stolen valor. And if you do it in the right spirit, of course I'm going to respond, because we are navigating social media, and this is a different platform. And I'm learning as I go, and I am growing from my mistakes. But yeah, instead of being called out on, this public forum where I'm trying to save lives and change lives and raise money for, right now I'm raising money for wristbands for a young woman who has cancer, and her mom is a veteran, a sister in arms, and a friend of mine. And so it takes away from that. So what I suggest is to please do it privately. Let's do it behind closed doors, in the end, so to speak, and handle it like mature adults. I can take constructive criticism. I can take, hey Gretchen, this is not right. Please, you need to remove that tweet. I have no problem doing that. But when you have several different veterans who are ganging up on me in public and disparaging me, calling me names, and turning it into something very personal and ridiculing me, then that's where it harms the mission. That's when you start seeing impeding the progress. And we don't want to do that, because what we're doing is, this is such a new thing that I've found with Code of Vets. Nobody else is doing it, and it's working, Rob. I mean, we have it. The success rate for what we're doing for our veterans, it blows me away. And it's a God thing. That's why it's not a Gretchen Smith thing. This is absolutely something that's beautiful. It's taken a life of its own. And it's just, we literally are saving and transforming lives. And it's just so humbling to be a part of it.
And that is the key, saving and transforming lives, and we're so grateful for that effort. So, in our last few minutes here, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, what your Twitter handles are, your Facebook addresses, and cities too. And then what are the things what are your top 3 things that you need folks to do to help your organization continue to save lives and transform people?
Well, the top thing is again sharing that information. I'm repetitive about that because that for me that's key. And if you do want to donate, we're always looking for funds for our veterans in need. And you can find us at www.codavets.com, at Codavets on Twitter. We're on Instagram, which is Codavets, and of course Facebook's Codavets. It's all about it's all about Codavets. So you can find us, on any of the social media sites. We are growing quickly. I'm so proud of it. And so, again, just right now, the mission is either retweeting, posting, just sharing that out there in social media, what we're doing, and also with donations. And soon, once the website is fully functional and up and running, we'll be able to have volunteers. It's going to be a membership database where you can volunteer. We'd like to have Codavets teams in every state. So we'll have physical boots on the ground. So that's something that's a work in progress. I'm so excited about it. So be on the lookout for that in the near future.
We will be on the lookout for that. I'm on the board of a homeless veterans transition facility right here in Southeast Louisiana. So we're standing volunteers if you need to call somebody that needs
Thank
help
you.
down here.
Okay.
You can call us, and that's what we do
Yeah,
because that's the right thing to do. And sometimes we don't find out from people that are right next door. We find out from people that are halfway around the world that
exactly. Yeah, that's what
somebody
we're
helped.
finding. Yes.
Exactly right. So thank you very much for coming on the show, Gretchen. We appreciate it. I didn't hear you say Cindy's Twitter handle. Do you want to put
It
that
is,
out there?
yes, absolutely. It's at CLW02, and that's all caps at CLW02.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Coda Vets, saving veterans' lives, transforming their families, one veteran at a time, one citizen at a time. Until next time on the Rob Maness Show, we'll see you later. A big thank you to Gretchen Smith from Coda Vets for joining us today. We learned a lot of things, but most importantly, we talked about how and why and when we as the grassroots can help prevent veteran suicide, and it's at epidemic proportions. So join us next time on the Rob Maness Show.